Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nabilah Izzah binti HASSAN BASRI, metric number 1231958. I would like to present about the influence of Orientalism on the Western perception of Islam. For the introduction, in the era of globalization, the relationship between the Western world and Islam is often influenced by various historical, political, and cultural factors. One of the factors that is widely discussed is Orientalism, which is the Western study of Eastern societies, including Islam. According to Edward Said, Orientalism is not just an academic field, but also influences the way the West sees and understands the East. This situation has contributed to the formation of various perceptions of Islam in Western society. Therefore, this assignment discusses the influence of Orientalism on Western perceptions of Islam and the effect that arise from it. The first point is the concept of Orientalism. The concept of Orientalism refers to the study by Western scholars of Eastern societies, including Islam. Initially, this study aimed to understand the culture, history, and religion of Eastern societies. However, according to Edward Said, Orientalism is not just an academic study, but also influences the way the West sees and portrays the East. He explained that some Orientalist views can be influenced by the West's own perspective, and this causes the portrayal of the East to not always be accurate. Therefore, Orientalism is not only related to the study of knowledge, but also has an impact on the formation of Western perceptions of Islam. The second point is the formation of negative perceptions toward Islam. The formation of negative perceptions of Islam occurs when Islam is often portrayed disproportionately in some Western studies and media. Among the image that often appear is that Islam is associated with violence and extremism, and Muslims are considered fanatical or intolerant of other religions. This perception is also influenced by some Orientalist writings that give a certain interpretation of Islam, which sometimes does not reflect the true teachings of Islam. In addition, the Western media also plays a role in reinforcing this stereotype by highlighting negative issues involving Muslims. Ultimately, all of these factors form a negative view among Western societies toward Islam. The third point is the spread of misconceptions about Islamic teachings. In addition to the formation of negative perceptions of Islam, Orientalism also contributes to the spread of various misunderstandings of Islamic teachings. This occurs when several important concepts in Islam are interpreted according to a Western perspective without understanding the true context of the teachings. Among the concepts that are often misinterpreted is jihad. In Western society, jihad is often associated with war, violence, and extremism. However, in Islam, jihad has a broader meaning, including a person's efforts to improve themselves, seek knowledge, and uphold goodness. In addition, Sharia is also often portrayed negatively. Some consider Sharia to be a harsh system that conflicts with human rights, while Sharia actually aims to regulate human life based on the principles of justice, security, and well being. The position of women in Islam is also often a misunderstood issue. Some parties assume that Islam limits women's freedom. However, Islam actually recognizes various rights of women, such as the right to education, own property, and participate in community activities. As a result, misunderstandings of these concepts cause some Western society to have an inaccurate picture of Islamic teachings. Therefore, a more accurate understanding based on authentic sources is very important to reduce misunderstandings of Islam. The fourth point is the role of Western media in reinforcing perceptions. In addition to Orientalist writings, Western media also play an important role in shaping public perceptions of Islam. The media is one of the main sources of information that influence the way society understands an issue or group. In many cases, media coverage often associates Islam with issues of violence, conflict, and extremism. When there are attacks or certain incidents involving Muslim individuals, religious identity is often given great attention in media reports. On the other hand, the positive contributions of Muslims in the fields of education, science, welfare, and community development do not receive the same coverage. This situation makes society more exposed to negative image compared to balanced image of Islam. In addition, the use of certain terms, image, and news headlines can also influence the way Western society views Islam. When exposure to negative information occurs repeatedly, stereotypes against Muslims become stronger and harder to change. Therefore, Western media has a great influence in strengthening public perceptions of Islam, whether positive or negative. In the context of Orientalism, the media also becomes a medium that spreads and reinforces certain views of Islam among Western societies. Next, the last point is the impact of Orientalism on Muslim society. The main impact of Orientalism on Muslim society is the increase in Islamophobia in some Western countries. Islamophobia refers to the feeling of fear, prejudice, or discrimination against Islam and Muslims. Negative perceptions formed through Orientalist writings and the media have caused some Western societies to see Islam as a religion closely associated with violence and extremism. As a result, Muslims often face stereotypes and unfair treatment in various aspects of life. In addition, discrimination against Muslims can also occur in the field of employment, education, and social life. There are also cases where Muslims are the target of insults, hatred, or prejudicial actions simply because of their religious identity. Another impact is that relations between Western societies and Islam have become more challenging. Persistent misunderstandings can hinder efforts to create understanding and cooperation between the two parties. Therefore, it is important to increase the correct understanding of Islam through education, dialogue, and the dissemination of authentic information. This step can help reduce stereotypes and build more harmonious relations between Western societies and Muslims. In conclusion, Orientalism has played an important role in shaping Western perceptions of Islam. Although there are Orientalist studies that contribute to the development of knowledge, some of them also produce inaccurate image of Islam and Muslims. This situation has contributed to the spread of stereotypes, misunderstandings, and Islamophobia in some Western societies. Therefore, efforts to strengthen dialogue, education, and the dissemination of authentic information about Islam are very important to create better understanding between Western and Islamic societies.